Hello, Gareth here. So in this video I'm going to talk about buying a drone and the impact of that on my landscape painting. So before I ramble, which I will do, about buying a drone, I need to say a few important things. So firstly, I've had my drone now for about 6 months. And I've done about 7 or 8 paintings from drone shots, and I will show you the paintings I've done and hopefully also some video footage and photos from the drone, because it might give you some ideas of what you can do. But before that, I will answer perhaps the most important question or questions, which is, was it a good investment? I bet you already know what I'm going to say, right? But that's fine. And secondly, would I recommend it? Now, that one might be a bit more difficult. But the first part, or the first question, definitely it was a good investment. So definitely. I'm so delighted I got a drone after 6 months of using one. So the second question, would I recommend it? I'm not so sure I could say yes, because I've been painting for 20 years and for about 10 years I've been serious about painting, and so I'm very familiar with painting landscapes, and I'm not saying it's become boring for me. I still enjoy painting landscapes in the normal way, but buying a drone just completely, it had a really big impact on me, on my painting, on my experience of painting. And it's more than just a novelty. It's really opened up new possibilities, and so I'm delighted that I got one. It's not simply that I can take a drone up into the sky and just see a whole new view of the world and get completely new ideas of how to paint landscapes. It's also that I can paint scenes from positions that I never could have reached before. Like, for example, the river beside me, it's got like little islands with trees and grass on them, and it's also got mud flats. And what I can do now is I can take my drone over the river and I can take it like in front of one of those islands or mud flats and get this whole new scene of the river that I'd normally never be able to get a shot of, and it would be extremely difficult for me. But with a drone I can do that, and so it's wonderful, and I'm just seeing things in a completely different way. But if you're new to landscape painting, or you've only been doing it a short while, it might be a bit too much. But that said, if you really want to get one, just get one. And it will obviously take some time to learn how to use it. So me too, I realized that it's going to take maybe a couple of years for me to really begin to understand how to use my drone well to get nice compositions, nice scenes. So there is going to be a learning curve. But that said, using the drone itself is fairly easy. But in this video I don't want to get into too many details about that. I can do that in another video, but I really just want to focus on the impact on my landscape painting. And in the rest of this video I'm going to show you what I've done, but just a beginning, if you like, how it began. So these things are always a bit murky for me, and I never keep a record of things, or very rarely. But at first my impression of drones was that they were for basically men who were still boys. I just saw them as toys. So don't give me a hard time for that, because I've bought one and I think they're really good fun. They're really good fun. So I'm really I've really changed my opinion about that. Then but what changed me from having that view, and I just had this view that of myself that I would never, or this opinion that I would never buy one. I would just never buy one. But I ended up buying one, and I think it was because at some point I realized the potential. I had a student and she bought a drone and she didn't use it a lot. So I think most people buy a drone and don't use it. And she bought one for a very cheap price, I think $200. And I found out it had a camera on it. She could take photos. And so when I heard this, I started to realize the potential of a drone for my landscape painting. And that's when I think I started to look on the internet for a drone. And that's when things got complicated. But it was good. In the end, it was good. So I eventually found out that the best kind of drone you can buy at the moment for a beginner that is actually decent, like it's fairly lightweight, it's not too serious, but it does good quality images and good quality video, and it's not going to break too easily, whatever, is the Mavic Mini. But I found out that costs $550, and that's for the combo set. So the combo set, it has some accessories, like it has some batteries, 2 extra batteries, and the batteries come in a case that you can recharge. And this is one thing I can say without a doubt: if you're going to buy it, definitely buy it with the combo set. Definitely. It's $50 extra, and you will definitely need those extra batteries, because they'll last about 20 minutes of flying time each battery. I think it's probably shorter than that. So I strongly recommend you buy the combo set if you're going to buy a drone. Okay, and to be honest, $550 for me was quite a lot of money. So for about 2 weeks I just didn't do anything. I just kept looking and learning and delaying, but eventually I bit the bullet and bought one. It was my Christmas present, my only Christmas present, but it was great. And I was a bit worried about crashing it, and I kept thinking about losing $550 in an instant. But I took it here by the river and just got familiar with how to use it. So anyway, I'm jumping ahead, and maybe that's something for a future video. So anyway, that's the beginning of it. That's how I came to buy one, and I've told you about the particular one that I bought, and that I would recommend the combo, definitely. So I started using my drone first by this river, and it was a slightly cloudy day, and I took it right up to the maximum limit. And then I took a photo of this river, and although it's cloudy, there must have been some sunshine coming through, because there was a sparkle on the river. And I ended up painting this picture, which you'll hopefully see now. and I was so delighted with it. And maybe I struggled a little to paint that, but just a little. And the really good news is that somebody bought it, and it paid for half the drone. So that was really, really good. So things like that sometimes happen in my life, but just now and again. So delighted about that. And then my second time of using my drone for painting was when I was doing a commission. So a doctor wanted a painting of a place called Kamaya, which is his hometown. And I went there and did a painting there. Well, I did a few, but the actual scene I painted was not using the drone. So I'm not going to be using the drone all the time, maybe about 30, 40, possibly 50% of the time. But who knows, it could change. I could become a specialist in that. If it makes money, I'll become a specialist in that. So anyway, while I was there, I got one scene with my drone of a boat at a concrete wharf, and I thought it would look good, but I was actually a little disappointed with it, and I'll show you the painting, so let you make up your own minds. And then there was another interesting place where there was a big piece of rock, and it was connected to the mainland, but they'd like cut a gap between it and the mainland so that they could have a road go through. And I thought that would look good because it went into the sea. I thought it would look good if I had the drone from the sea part looking above at that bit of rock. It's not just a bit of rock, it's a very, very big piece of rock. It's very dramatic looking, and sadly I don't think I could get a good image of that. So I did do a painting of it, which you can see here. I'm glad I did it because it was a real challenge, but I don't think I've been successful with that painting. That said, in the future I do want to go to more coastal areas and try and get some lovely shots of big rocks. You get some really interesting rocks that look like columns, and I want to go to a few places where you've got those kind of rock formations and get some views from above. I really think I can get some amazing images of something like that. So I've got a few ideas of places to go, and hopefully I'll do that this year, possibly in summer when I've got 2 weeks holiday. So there you go, that's that. Then the next place I think was Hiji, and I went there with my family to look at the cherry blossom, but I also took the drone up and I got some nice shots of the coast again, the beach, and like the mountains in the distance. So I did this painting, and I'm not too happy with that painting either. I think it's okay, but I don't think it's not quite meeting my expectations yet. So it's kind of weird, but sometimes, you know how you have this like associative memory thing? So I know that when I painted that picture, I was listening to the biography or something of C.S. Lewis, and it's amazing how the memory works. Like those two things are stuck together now. But anyway, moving on. Let's not turn it into a ramble. So the next place I went to is called Ogata, and it has this very beautiful waterfall, and it's a crescent shape, And before I went, I had a vision, and the vision was of the drone in front of the waterfall and an image of the water shooting down to the pool below, or the river below. And I took some photos from that viewpoint, but when I looked at them, I was really a bit disappointed with them. I didn't think they worked well as a composition, but what I did was crop the image, and it ended up looking good as a composition. And so I ended up doing this painting that you'll see now, and I'm really happy. I'm really happy with that painting. My friend said it looks like a theme park, so like something artificial, but maybe that's because bits of that area are a bit artificial, but I like it. I'm very happy with it. And while I was there, I also did some shots, and this is what I was talking about before, like you can take scenes that are like from normal height, but you wouldn't normally be able to take them. So I moved the drone so it was like in front of the waterfall, and it was about human height, maybe a little bit higher, but you could see the water coming down off the fall, the top of the fall, but at the same time you could see people at the very top walking across. And I really liked that particular viewpoint. I thought that was very interesting, and of course normally you could never do that, so I was delighted about that. And I'm quite happy with the results as well. There was a bit of a rainbow effect, and I didn't do that quite correctly, so the colours aren't quite correct, but I'll have another go in the future, because I really like that scene a lot, and I think it has enormous potential. So I'm looking forward to that. So that was Olgata. Then after that, now this is what is really exciting for me, and it's basically, you don't have to go very far, you don't have to go to special places in order to get amazing images that you can turn into beautiful paintings. So I have a train line by this river. You know what I'm saying. So there's a train line that goes over the river, and then it goes off towards the city centre, which is very nearby. And there's a really good view of that train line, and I could already see just from my own viewpoint that it looked good. But what I did was I took my drone up, and the view was amazing. So the nice thing about roads or train lines is it gives you like a kind of way of looking through the cityscape. You know, it gives a kind of, because normally without the roads, without the train lines, your view is just going to be obstructed by buildings, whereas with a train line you've got this unobstructed view. And that view was particularly amazing because you've got mountains in the distance, then you've got buildings in front of that, and then you've got all these wonderful posts and wires along the train line that really are exciting and add to the perspective and the drama of the scene. And I did it at evening time, so I thought it was amazing, and I was so happy with that painting. So you'll see it here. So I was really happy with that, and I really needed my drone for that. It helped tremendously. So the next one I did was also just along this river. I was walking along this river at evening time, which is normally my favorite time for painting, and I went past a road that crosses the river, and this is a new new bridge they've made, and it just looked amazing. I could see already from my own viewpoint, with the sun going down, the mountains in the distance were glowing orange, and a few of the buildings were lit up with orange light. And I could just imagine if I can see this road as well, which probably is also glowing a bit orange as well. I love surfaces, and I had the idea that this road surface would be glowing orange, and it was. And so I took my drone up, and the view was really amazing. It was spectacular, and you had these lovely contrasts of warm and cool, of orange and blue, and I was very, very happy with that painting. And so this is what I mean, you can capture these amazing scenes that are just, you'd never be able to paint them normally. So for me, it's completely changed my landscape painting lifestyle. Well, sorry, I'm a bit lost for words. It's fundamentally though changed my paintings. Yeah, that's it. It's fundamentally changed my paintings, and I think that's mostly it. So yesterday I went to this place where there are terraced rice fields, and one of the things that I've always wanted to paint, being here in Japan, is a watery rice field. So it's now the rainy season in Japan, and you get watery rice fields for a few weeks. Soon they turn green, but at the moment you still got these little green shoots, so they don't cover much space, and so you get these beautiful pools of water that reflect the sky. And I have done quite a few paintings of rice fields, but I haven't done one that I'm really proud of yet. And I've just got the feeling that with a drone I'm going to get shots that will just inspire me to paint a really amazing picture, but it might take me a few weeks. I know it's going to be a bit of a struggle. But yesterday I went to this place called Uchinari. That was a bit of an adventure, but I won't ramble. I'll produce that video at some point, and you'll learn about my adventures there. But it's quite an amazing place with these terraced rice fields. They've got so many of them, and the sky conditions weren't the best. I mean, I would have loved a dramatic evening sky, but on that particular day it wasn't that. It was just it was a beautiful sky, but it just stayed kind of blue and white until the end. It never turned into something colourful, but I still think I got some good shots, and I might show a few here. Well, one, let's not overdo it. I tend to overdo things, and I have to stop that. So I did get some really beautiful shots, and I think from them I think I can make a really good painting. And I also did a sound recording of water running along one of the little concrete ducts by the side of the rice field, and I think if I add that to the video, it would just help to capture the peacefulness of the place. I know it sounds a bit over the top, a bit mushy, but maybe that's what I am, but it's just one of those places that's so beautiful. You just feel like you've come home, and you almost feel like I could die here. This place is so wonderful, but I must add to that I'm only visiting. Perhaps if I lived there it'd be a bit different, you know, the illusion and reality. But it was a beautiful place, and it was lovely to go there. So I think that's everything in this first video about drones. So it was definitely a good investment for me, and for me as a landscape painter. And even though it cost $550 and I'm not rich at all, I'm still happy that I spent that money. But do be careful with your drone. Do take it somewhere like this river place where there's not many people, not many cars, and it's flat, there's few obstructions, because there is a learning curve. Like you can very quickly learn how to control it, but to control it well is another thing. And that's it. So bye for now.